pull this one off, because Samira, very sink or swim, very much incredibly successful or very poor results.
Yep, absolutely. But Gumayushi is a fantastic player, so let's see whether he can make things work here as we hop onto the Rift for game number 3, our decider here for today, the first day of LCK 2021. Thank you so much, guys, for coming back for another year. So excited to bring more LCK your way. And we've got so many more teams to be showing you here as well. So just so glad that we're back, Wolf. I'm just so glad.
Yeah, excited to be a part of it all. Very honored, honestly.
Yeah. Honored, honestly, I get it. HO words. Okay, I'm not going to talk about that. As Red side has been a burden for both of these teams thus far. Let's see whether T1 can utilize this blue side theoretical advantage this time around. As Samira, I don't know, man. It's really hard to truly gauge her value because we've seen her almost permabanned, and then she was just left open and ignored throughout all of today. So
with no real
looking
changes.
forward to seeing how good she is.
Yeah, and it just feels like people have figured out. CCing her, locking her down in team fights, you can prevent. Oh, so we're gonna have another little pause here. You can prevent a lot. The Ornhorn can definitely disrupt it. Rel has been really awesome at setting up depth. You know, Vista in this case on the Rel, setting up depth in these longer team fights. Does not pair as well with what's it called? I believe Gravity Well, the slow and or stun that you'll see from Chovy on the Victor.
Oh yes, the gravity field.
Gravity
Indeed.
field, that's right.
But I mean, it's a lot of gravity and magnets and stuff like that. This is exactly the interaction that we were talking about with the Arcane Smash. Carrier well on point with that one. Able to interrupt the crash down quite nicely. And so looking forward to seeing how this little mini game is going to play out. As Harmolife seem to have a bit of control here on the bottom side. Canner as well, pretty happy on the top side of the map, and will for the next little while. But it'll take a bit, but then Ornn should be absolutely fine in this matchup.
Yep, I'm really excited to see how the Aurelia pairs here too. Because I think everybody's really excited to see non-control mages in the mid lane and just any sort of variance because it has been so boring otherwise.
Whoop, didn't want to take that torch shot, I don't think.
Yeah, but even with it, it wasn't a terrible trade, but it could have been amazing. And now he's in a little bit of a frustrating situation. Gonna back.
Yep, we'll take that Cheetah Recall, just grab some shoes or something like that. I'm not entirely sure what he can purchase with 17 CS. It's been a while since I've done the math, but we'll see what he walks back with. Just gonna recharge the Corrupting Potion.
Yeah.
But doesn't have to use his teleport, so can still go for a back timing whenever he feels like it. And you may as well just go get all of your health back if you have the opportunity to do so. So a decent decision there from Closer.
Just the little things,
making
though.
Sure that he's in the best position possible. Yeah.
If that turret shot doesn't hit, he stays on lane and he's in a fantastic position. So every little thing adds up quite a lot in these really volatile matchups. King goes down.
As you can see, it's actually the bottom side of the map being absolutely controlled by Hanwha right now. Even Deft and Vista having a much better time than they have had so far over this series.
Yeah, Vista, it looks like he's just really well versed on this Rel pick, and Deft and he have definitely been practicing it. And the question is how.
Such a shame. Closer just missed the reset on the Blade Surge. The minion didn't die, so wasn't able to close the gap again, and misses the stun to boot.
That's the
Talia. Right, that's a flash forward from Vista, but doesn't really do anything with it, and he's just going to die. First blood going over to Samira, and it was delivered on a silver platter. What a disaster.
I mean, you can't play like that against Maokai, and you can't. It's not the same matchup that we had last time where you just constantly crash in and trade repeatedly.
Oh no, Deft. He's going to cleanse, gets himself out of the way of that one, holds onto the flash, but still, scary moment. But handled pretty well.
Yeah. Chovy did lose his flash in that exchange earlier too, even though it was almost an amazing looking kill. And that's the, pairing that you can have with really strong roaming jungler like Talia, who's got some decent CC to lock members up and kill him. Still got the flash though, so 2 pretty big wins for T1 here in this early game. The first blood on the Samira is always terrifying. We'll see what she ends up building, because we've seen a few variations in Korea. Mostly the Immortal Shield Bow was popular in Kespa Cup, but we'll see if there's been some kind of changes to how that's being done. Ooh, missed that one.
Yep. Kraken Slayer works on her, but I think that the Shield Bow is a better choice for consistency, just because you do want to get in amongst it, right? Being a pseudo melee ranged type champion. She's going to miss that last CS, but did manage to nail most of them. Still behind by about 10 though, and Deft is going to walk back to lane with a serrated Dirk and a longsword. And so he's feeling very good about those purchases as Chovy going down low, but Vista's going to turn up. Crash down, going to be available, but used defensively here, just to get himself out of there. And Arthur moves on in, but he's a little bit late. Carry the Christmas tree turns up, and it's going to be okay.
It's pretty nice reactions across the board on both teams. No mistakes here, but the forced back into teleport gives a slight advantage here on this Drake to Hanalite Esports. They're going to try to push into this. They start it, but
whoa, that's a flash forward. Oh. That's a solo kill.
Wow!
Closer just catches Chovy unaware.
So that's insanely aggressive from Closer, but he hit his ult earlier. He knew that Chovy didn't have flash. He shoots his shot, man. He's able to.
Yeah, man.
He's able to just completely all in and take him out, which is an amazing start for him. And what was looking like could have been a Hanwha Drake, at least the pressure was there, gets scouted by Keria at the same time, and they've actually converted this kill now into their own first Drake of the game. Cloud Drake, but still, grabbing the objective very early on.
Yeah, it's really nice work from Closer, who's bouncing back in this game very, very nicely.
They have
It's been a while since I've seen Chovy get solo killed in mid. It's just not a thing that happens all that often, but still, I think I'd say that it's more about Closer playing well rather than Chovy dropping the ball. Just wasn't quite ready for that sick flash engage as Vanguard's Edge was available. Chovy now hitting level 6, but he's a level behind, and Closer is just massive.
Certainly is. Watch this again. Boom. Flash into it. Ults on top of Chovy. He's got no flash. He's got no way out. The shield isn't going to save him there, sadly.
Yeah, just perma resets over everyone. Really, really beautiful stuff here from Closer. And this is just going to make this lane even more difficult and also opens up the map for T1 so much.
And they got the scuttle here. They get the crab and depth.
Flash. Oh dear. LM's going to come forward. Sidestep is going to be there, but it's not quite enough. LM easily picks up that kill, and unfortunately, Vista's just there a little bit too late.
Yeah, the turret plates, you know, here are now going to get taken. Grabbing that scuttle and getting the Drake was so amazing when they had that clear on vision on the river, because it's meant that you just never really knew, if you're on Life Esports, where LM is. Then eventually you're getting pushed in, so you got to try to move up and be aggressive, because you can't just play blind and just play too safe, but then that's the worst possible time to do so. Closer having control of this lane too, non-stop, means he can roam more directly, and all they're really getting out of this exchange is Arthur stealing some jungle camp, stealing some vision, but he's unfortunately walking on a ward here in this Rift Herald. Can't make that play happen, so Hanwha just don't get to trade anything back macro-wise here.
Yep, and once again, I mean, Chovy's going to have to flash to get out of the way of this one, but Closer's going to take another turret shot, and Chaos Storm's doing a lot of work. Death Ray comes in, and Arthur steals away the kill like a jerk. Oh, no. What? I mean, it's better to have assist gold on top of your kill, but still. Not exactly what you want to see. Death taking a lot of damage, and he's going to have to cleanse to get himself out of it. Vista decides he wants to go back in as Carrier gets exploded. Death grabs that kill. Vista's going to die, and the ulti will come through from Gumayushi, but he's not able to get enough done. Steals away one kill, but now Arthur's looking to try and lock down LM. And LM's running, but he's not going to be able to get far enough. And the kill steal attempt from Chovy wasn't able to work as well as Arthur's from earlier.
Just a perfect shutdown there of Gumayushi's ultimate. Means that Deft survives with a sliver of health and is able to turn that fight back. And it feels like T1 are pushing the go button a little bit too much here. They have advantages, and sure, this Aurelia comp means that they do need to play aggressively. They can't play passively. They need to continue this tempo advantage, but this is a bit of an overextension. The ult comes out onto Closer. Everyone else is rotating in, but look at how far away Carrier and Gumayushi are. And after this kill, it feels like maybe it's time to just go back to lane, but they want to push the issue onto Deft, and Vista helps keep him alive. See the stun there, and when Gumayushi's ult comes out here, he's just not able to actually get that last bit of damage on the Deft. Boom, that's the end of it. He survives.
Oh, man. so ridiculously close. They will miss out on this Rift Herald, so first one is going to go over to T1. That's definitely good news for them. They retain their monopoly on neutral objectives around the map. It's 4-4, and the gold lead is, what, 400, 300? Chovy, no flash, remember. This is very unfortunate. He's going to get flicked back and destroyed. Ellen grabs that kill. Alright, he's going to land on the carrier, so he will fall. So it's a 1-for-1 in the end, and the Rift Herald wasn't actually employed in that particular fight, so just a 1-for-1.
Rotation coming up here from Ellen as well, so this is just going to be guaranteed plates, stealing some little golems away. But
oh, they'll just take the turret.
Yeah, it looks like they just will. I mean, the rotation's coming up here from Morgan and Arthur. Morgan does have his Ornhorn, but I mean, with this...
That's a big flash in. Oh my god, the flick onto both of them as the Graves is going to fall. Now, Canna is in trouble. Chovy teleporting in just to save the day, and he will be able to do so. They do lose the turret, but a 2-for-1 exchange when it comes to the kills.
I mean, Closer's going to side lane. They're just trying to trade macro-wise here. It feels like the mid push led to aggressive push from Kana in the top lane, which ends up being a bad trade. Didn't need to be. Again, almost too aggressive, our T1. It's almost like they're just trying to force every fight, regardless of its outcome, because it's usually, worst case for them, an even trade, so that they can get a side lane pressure advantage elsewhere. We're going to watch this dive onto Chovy once again. Keria gets hit by a turret and is taken out here by Arthur, unfortunately. But the top exchange here is like a little bit too aggressive. They take the turret out, but Kana goes in deep. Arthur's able to survive a little bit longer, but look at Chovy. He rotates up, and this just ends up staying too long here, forgetting about teleport. But at the same time, you can see the bot lane on the minimap. There's a push coming through from Closer. So they are getting objectives on the map for this. It's not kill gold they're looking for. They're looking for turrets, they're looking for plates, and side lanes. So gotta respect the macro plays here from T1.
Damn right, and they're 2,000 gold in the lead after all that. And I feel like Harmful Life were trading up when it came to kills, as Ellen is going to be able to win the Drake fight. Arthur not quite in position to get that smite off.
And again,
so
look at the top lane.
Continues.
Yeah. Kana's like, okay, well, you guys are going to try to take the Drake, you fail. And I'm up here pushing down some more turret damage. I'm getting 3 waves. The map belongs to T1, even if they're behind in kills. Like you were saying, some of the trades are a little bit better for Hanwha Life Esports, but objective-wise, they are getting so much done.
Yeah, slice over the wall there from Kana. He's never going to die. As a Weaver's Wall comes through just to get Ellen in position. Def just being hunted to the ends of the earth and will be taken down. Closer will tidy that one up. Carrier tanking the turret for a very long time and will die to the Rel as Gumayushi takes a very empowered shot from the turret, but he'll be able to clean this one up in the end. And it'll be 2 turrets to 0, and this gold lead will keep extending.
T1's playing ping pong, not playing League of Legends. Oh, you're coming to the top lane and trying to stop Kana because he's pushing down a turret? Oh, we're going to win a fight in the bot lane, or at least trade and get another turret. And the gold just keeps going up for T1. 8 to 8 on kills, but the macro game and the understanding the side laning and where they can put pressure on turrets is absolutely in their favor. See what happens later on as we head into some team fights, but the gold advantage cannot be overstated right now for T1 as they have got both Drakes and so much on the map.
Absolutely. Collateral damage comes down. Arthur is able to grab that kill pretty comfortably. Gale Force is going to help him out there as Chovy flashes out of the way. Another Chaos Storm on top of Closer. But remember, the further away it gets from the victor, the slower it moves, and Closer just walks out of it. He'll be okay for the moment. Does have his Blade of the Ruin King now completed, as does Canna. In fact, no mythic items for our solo laners so far. A couple of them have been picked up as Talia finally gets her Leandries as we have a look at this fight again towards the bottom side.
Yeah, Deft trying his best to get away. There's just no way out of this one. Just trying to turn this back around and make a trade. Skuria eats a bunch of turret damage. He does end up getting taken out, but again, the turret value is there. It's best case scenario for Vista, who's obviously in a desperate situation, but look at the turret gold, 1920 to 800. This is turret plates, by the way. All 5 insane. On top and bot and 2 in mid for T1. They've maximized turret plate value in this early to mid game, and Hanwha Life Esports just have been a little bit slow on the draw to deal with this.
Yeah, Gumayushi's continuing to put on more pressure, trying to take down this outer turret in the mid lane as well as Canna continues split pushing. I mean, this T1 comp is 1-3-1ing so beautifully right now. They're lapping up every resource on this map, and that's why you see such a large gold lead when everything else feels so even. Closer dancing around the top lane. There is still an air of inevitability. You were talking about T1 playing aggressively, and I think they have to, right? There is an Ornn on the other side of the rift. There is that idea of adding so much extra value to this Hanwha Life team composition with all of those ornaments that maybe this becomes an insurmountable hill to climb for T1 in the late game. But so far, they are taking a lot of control, and the more map control that you have, the easier it is to suffocate your opponents, even though they do have, you know, champions that can create an inherent difficulty when it comes to scaling.
Sure. I mean, I absolutely agree with you. I mean, you have to take this tempo advantage. Sometimes you see tempo advantages in League of Legends with just constant skirmishes and constant trades where you're trading up and someone's getting fed. Samir in this case might be the target, but this is just turret plate advantages across the board that they're looking for, and this is really impressive stuff from T1. But is there a timer on this? That's the question. I mean, have they done enough? Right now, it feels like the answer is yes. But this next Drake fight, I think, is going to give us a little bit of insight into what happens when T1 is forced to group up. They are forced to 5v5. If they decide not to and just push closer into the side lanes again, we'll find out if Hanwha Life can start getting that objective control back that they've missed on these first two Drakes. And now, it looks like another Rift Herald.
Yep, Shirley going to be taken here by Ellen. You should be able to grab that one pretty comfortably, kiting it pretty nicely, as we saw. There's Closer, dancing around the top lane. Deft, of course, not moving any closer to him than he utterly needs to. You do have the Sunfire Aegis completed by Morgan. He's going towards his next item, Bramble Vest, now in his pocket as well, which is definitely going to be valuable against both the Aurelia and the Renekton. And if he just itemizes into a lot of armor and health, then he's going to be a very happy Ornn as carrier. Not wasting any time, he's immediately flashing out. And Chovy's done almost double damage, the second highest damage in the game on this Victor, as he's probably one of the only poke champions in the game.
Yeah, you see the total gold, Gumayusi having the biggest advantage there. He does have his Immortal Shield Bow done, and he is building towards starting to have some real team fight power. I mean, the Immortal Shield Bow means he's going to live through his ultimate more often than he was before, obviously, as we saw in the previous fight. They're going to get this mid turret. Again, all turrets belong to T1. The map belongs to T1. 3 turrets to 0. All the plate gold advantage they had. And they're just going to try to push this mid up so they can get that positional advantage and vision control on this Cloud Drake, or Ocean Drake, excuse me.
Yeah, and I think that Hanwha do really need to try and fight this one. Great Weaver's Wall to get them out of this area, but it's just going to be broken, of course, by the Searing Charge. Ellen's still trying to throw some pebbles in there. Deathray doing some work, but now the Brambles come forward. Vanguard's edge into the backline. Oh my god! Closer just destroying the team fight. Deft trying to run away, but he won't be able to. Arthur can't kite this one out either, as Morgan will get a knock-up, but he's going to go down, and T1 destroy the team fight. And Closer, I'm sorry about what I said in game number 2. You are an incredible player.
God tier engage on this fight, and Hanwha Life Esports almost feels like they forgot he was there. They forgot that he has this insane strong engage, which is extremely well paired with Gumayusi on this Samira, and he just comes in and cleans up house after the big engage, and sure, he loses his life for it, but the trade is perfect. You're going to be hard-pressed to find more value in a 5v5 team fight out of an Aurelia than that. I mean, that is going to be in Closer's highlight reel for the rest of his career. What a fantastic engage, and this is what you're looking for if you're T1. You wonder about the strength of how much their macro game, how many turret plates they got. Like, does this tempo advantage they have last? If you can keep team fighting like that, the answer is absolutely yes. And they get that third Drake. Watch this again. Holy cow. Carrier tries to slow and set this up. See the Weaver's Wall come in. Closer, they know he's there. It doesn't stop him from having the perfect flank engage.
Yeah, bounces his way over, and the Brambles come through, and thank you so much to our observers for the sick observing as he just gets on in there, but I feel like the ulti was the damage done, right? It was just so beautifully constructed.
Yeah, Gumayusi cleans up house on the back of this. Arthur's got no way out, and it's just a cleanup. Pure and simple. They get their third Drake of the game, and it feels like the snowball is rolling down the hill. It's starting to pick up speed here for T1.
Moving to 6,000 gold in the lead, as Closer's only getting ever closer to the Trinity Force, and that's his first mythic, remember? He gets so much stronger as soon as that one comes in, and Morgan's going to really have to start getting to that forge and shelling out some items, because this T1 squad are looking so powerful as we move closer and closer to the latter half of the mid game. Still, I mean, that clock is there in the back of your mind, right? That nasty word of scaling still exists, but it's moving further and further away from Hanwha being able to hold on to this. And I think that if there's an Ocean Soul in this game for T1, then that could be the difference maker. So look for that team fight in about 3 minutes time. If T1 can do it again, then I think that that might just be the last nail in the coffin.
I think so too. I mean, you know that too. I mean, when Rel can pair really well with Ornn, and obviously the damage output of Chovy, like there are amazing team fights that Hanwha Life haven't had the opportunity to have yet. I mean, that one fight we just had for T1 shouldn't have necessarily gone that way, right? We still haven't had a fair 5v5 fight on Hanwha Life's terms. So when they do get to have that fight, that's when things get harder for T1. But if T1 just keeps steamrolling this game, side laning and top and bottom and 1-3-1ing super hard, Hanwha Life are really going to struggle to get that fight on their terms because objectives are being taken away from them. They don't have vision control. The map is blue. It belongs to T1. All right, because their logo is red, but you know what I'm saying. And, I mean, I have to say, Atlas, I believe in the snowball here. I mean, the gold lead speaks for itself. You know, it's very rare to be only up 3 kills, but yet be up 7,000 gold, or I guess 6,000 gold here as I read it more correctly. But still 6k in the lead off of objectives alone. That is impressive. Yeah,
really, really impressive. Few kills in the lead as well as... Closer went back, but didn't actually complete his item just yet, so we're still waiting on that power spike. As Morgan, level 13 now. We'll see whether the Typhoon will come through for Arthur, or whether it's the Megalodon Slayer, as you coined it, for Deft. Or whether we get the Liandry's Liandry's Thesaurus, I think is what we call it. Because what is there? There's like Lament, there's Torment, there's Agony, there's all sorts of...
I thought it was just Depression, but that's just me.
I think it's Liandry's Lament. I think that's the Ornn upgrade.
Doesn't sound as bad as Torment. You know, it sounds a little bit weaker, to be honest.
Yeah, so Anguish is just the regular one. Torment is the old one. And Languish is the new one. I'm not entirely sure. There's a fight, though, and Carrier's dead. He does manage to get down his brambles, but that's all he's going to be able to find, and this could be a disaster. He's dead for 30 seconds, and that'll give him 15 seconds alive before this Drake is going to appear, and his ult's on cooldown. This is a big problem for T1.
And Ocean Drake is much more powerful for Hanwha Life than it is for T1, so this is a great Drake for them to grab, and there's many more potentially to come if this game starts to turn around. Huge pick, which we didn't really see all of, so we'll have to take a look at that in the replay, but it was just Hanwha Life looking like they found a nice engage, were able to pull a pick off, and it's one of the worst ones to have for T1. Losing Keria here is, it's not really safe to even move around the map near where Hanwha Life is. Speaking of which, T1, it seems like they don't care, they're way out of position. Wrong side of the map.
And the flash away from Elam as well. This is just forcing them back. I mean, Canna's in position, and Keria is going to make it to this Drake. So, the 5v5 is there. Vanguard's Edge. Flash used for closer, but no follow-up. Finally, they get in there as Morgan going down so low, but he's so tanky. As in goes Gumayusi into the backline. He will fall down, but has he done enough? And I think the answer is yes, as it's only Chovy left alive, and it's looking like an Ocean Drake is going to land in the hands of T1 for the Ocean Soul.
Exactly right. I mean, it was like Gumayusi just said, I'm part of Hanwha Life now. He dove deep into the backline. He was on top of 3 players by himself. He has a Mortal Shield Bow, which pops in the fight to help keep him alive. And they're going to solo to get that Ocean Drake. They're going to grab a Baron here. And again, the snowball continues. It looked scary for just 1 second, for just a moment for T1. It looked like, okay, maybe Hanwha Life are starting to seal this back. They got that pick in the mid lane. And then they just had, again, another hard Vanguard's Edge engage. And Gumayusi gets back into the backline where he wants to be. And it was all off the back, too, of what was originally a pretty rough position for T1. I think this is going back to that mid lane pick we had a while back.
Yeah, we sort of missed out on it a little bit as Keria, he's the one that flashed forward, right, and then falls, but it was what happened afterwards, and this is as Keria makes his way back. So this is all planned from T1, and Closer, yes, he throws down the ulti, doesn't quite find what he wants, but then they wait it out and they get the perfect timing. I thought it was going to be a disaster, but damn, Gumayushi just dives into the backline, sacrifices himself, and it's all for the good of the team, right?
Yeah, and when you look at it too, you see that the threat of the dive in from closer is what keeps the rest of Hanwha Life disconnected. Like, Deft isn't able to do damage when Vista comes in for his ult. He pulls everybody in, but there's just no follow-up damage, and T1 says thank you very much. Closer's like, okay, I'm gonna cut this team in half, and then we're gonna send Gumayushi right into the backline. It was perfect. And T1 looked so well versed with this composition.
Well, another ulti to fly forward here from Keria as in goes Vista, just hard engaging the Weavers Wall. Not exactly doing too much as Cannon's going to fall down. The Rel is going to be traded as Chovy is off to the side, but he gets a lot of work done. And T1 may have thrown away part of their advantage as Chovy just walking on these saplings, man. They're doing so much damage. Keria, he might be dead now, but he's done the most damage on his team thus far. I don't know whether that's something weird about Imperial Mandate, because I feel like that maybe that counts towards his damage when it's not actually his damage or something like that, but still it's impressive because we've been seeing a lot of these saplings doing work.
Yeah, I think the saplings are the main reason why he does really pop off, but there may be some weird interaction with the Mandate as well. But T1, despite going down in terms of that team fight trade, they're able to get 2 turrets and they just kind of like fade out, you know, as if, okay, this is a little bit too scary to keep pushing the issue too much, but we still get 2 big objectives. Vista coming in here to the backside and pulling everybody apart. Keria, unfortunately, just not that tanky. Does go down here, and Closer is the one that everyone's avoiding. He's so terrifying right now on this Aurelia, but now without any sort of front line and no support, they just have to back away. Don't want to take the 3v4 fight and end up getting that bot turret. Still ahead is T1, but it feels like every single fight they've taken past the mid-game has been a miracle engage, of the ones they've won. And, you know, how many miracles are we going to watch in a game? It feels like Hanwha Life certainly have a path back in this game. This is not unwinnable by any means.
It's not unwinnable, but, I mean, we're staring down a 10,000 gold lead, and any 10,000 gold lead is a real tough one to overcome, right? But, I mean, they do have a lot of scaling in their composition. They do have Chovy and Deft, and they have Morgan there just to give them some really cool items. And so as this game gets further and further, it's, you know, there is going to be a lot more that we can expect out of this squad. But I just don't know whether the damage is just too much from T1. I mean, Ocean Soul, as well as a 10,000 gold lead, a monopoly on vision, so many extra turrets. I mean, Hanwha have only taken 1 turret this entire game. It's like, yes, they've got kills, but what have they been for?
Well,
and yeah,
I didn't mean to cut across you. I mean to say that this next fight for the Elder Drake, I think is Hanwha Life's chance back into this game. If they take a really nice fight there, if they're able to prevent Closer from just cutting the team in half and just doing massive, massive damage, they're going to be in a pretty nice spot. But if they lose an inhibitor here, it's going to make it very, very tough to actually have that vision control of the Drake. They're pushing in.
Yep, there's the crash down. Magnet Storm comes through. That's a great flick back, and Deft is immediately removed from the fight. Chovy finds himself an angle, though, as LM does go golden, and Keria is taken out of the fight. Vista now looking for a little bit more as Chovy just gatekeeping. Canna is inside the enemy base, going rogue. It's Owen Wilson style as he's behind enemy lines, and Gumayushi just wasn't in the fight. He was just taking down the inner turret top lane, and will be able to take an inhibitor turret as well.
This is T1 saying, we'll take the trade. Again, trading down in kills, trading down in the fight, but looking for objectives, pushing down that top turret, looking for what they can. It's unfortunate for Hanwha Life that Deft is the one who's down, because with him up, they could have actually pushed for more, I think. See another teleport coming through here. So it looks like
Morgan
they want Closer.
Trying to get rid of Closer. We'll be able to CC him a little bit. Flash forward there as Arthur could be in trouble. Closer doesn't find the reset, goes golden, does Arthur, but stopwatch is in hand for Closer as well. Vista getting taken down low, and the Samira is online, ladies and gentlemen. That's the quadra kill for Gumayushi. And Deft is like, well, not sure what I can do this game as T1 look to close it out.
Yeah, this time he's the only one left standing, and T1 want to win this series 2-1. They're just going to walk forward down the red carpet and take it. Respawn's just very, very far away. 25 seconds or more on the side of Hanwha Life Esports. Defending this seems nigh impossible with everyone rejoining.
Sometimes you just want to flash under Nexus turrets and throw out an ultimate into nowhere. It doesn't really matter. They're going to dive onto Deft. They're going to take him down. It's the ace. It's the unofficial pentakill for Gumayushi Samira here on day number 1. And T1 start off with a bang. Hanwha made them work for it, but this will be the debut victory for T1 with a roster that a lot of us were not expecting.
And this is the good series we expected. This series wasn't just supposed to be good because it's T1 and we haven't seen them for a long time.
What we want to see pick and ban.